Hello everyone, my name is Kitty Holbrook, and today I will be talking to you about change, disheartening statistics, the necessity of hope, and my passion for activism. When I was 8, my family and I marched across the Brooklyn Bridge in protest of fossil fuel use in light of climate change. There were around 800 people in the crowd, all holding placards and flags reading "Coal kills" or "Cap the crude." To see so many people coming together for what they believed in, carrying brightly colored signs and chanting, enraptured me. My 6-year-old brother and I loved it, shouting with the crowd, "Hey, hey, ho, ho, climate change has got to go," repeatedly until at last we crossed the bridge. After getting to the other side and having some celebratory snacks, I grew quiet. When my dad asked me what was wrong, I expressed my confusion. Wouldn't it make more sense for all these people to actually go somewhere and pick up trash instead of just walking across a bridge? What does marching do? I had loved the experience, but I couldn't bring myself to see the worth of it. Climate change is a present, pressing problem that the human race faces. Carbon dioxide levels have increased by over 31% since the industrial era. In March of 2015, the Mauna Loa Observatory recorded the first consistent global carbon measurement of 400 parts per million, surpassing the established safe amount of 350 parts per million. Carbon levels have not been this high since before human existence, and consequences are inevitable. The temperature is increasing by 0.15 to 0.20 degrees Celsius each decade. Ice caps are melting, and therefore sea levels are rising. Sea levels have risen by at least 6.7 inches in the last 100 years and are estimated to rise up to 36 inches in the coming century. 1/3 of Earth's species are headed for extinction in the next 50 years. Risk of droughts and forest fires is increasing rapidly, and superstorms are becoming more common and more powerful. Without changing something soon, the health of our planet and its inhabitants are doomed. In order to avoid the catastrophic fate that we are headed for now, change needs to happen, and it needs to happen soon. And for change to take place, something has to be done. The glaciers aren't going to stop receding, and the corals won't stop bleaching overnight. Animals aren't going to start petitioning for renewable energy. We humans are the only ones who can and have to do something about it, and this is where activism comes in. Activism, defined as the policy or action of using vigorous campaigning to bring about political or societal change, is a necessary step to enact change. Activism has been used throughout history to change policy and raise awareness in order to have a better, more equal world. A prevalent example of activism in American history is the Civil Rights Movement from 1955 to 1968. Prominently led by Martin Luther King Jr., Rosa Parks, Malcolm X, and many others, the Civil Rights Movement brought thousands of people all over the country to work together to extinguish discrimination. With a combination of boycotts, riots, petitioning, and marches, the people of America eliminated Jim Crow laws and put an end to legalized segregation. The fight for civil rights is still alive. People continue to come together, most recently around the Black Lives Matter movement. In addition, a new issue has arisen, and we the people, just like those before us, must do something about it. In the face of climate change, activism's power may not be evident, but it is. The sad truth is that, in a world where corporations own almost everything, individuals can rarely make large-scale changes. Executives and officials are going to be the ones making the final decisions, not the person signing the petition. But activism broaches the subject, it makes it apparent, it makes it matter. That action both affects the administrators and the general public. It leads to people voting, making a change in their region, and leads to politicians shifting their position on the subject. Without activism, the issue may not ever be brought to the attention of the decision maker. With climate change, a problem that has recently gained traction, each rally and march shows that people out there still care and are still fighting for their planet. They send the message that people will be moving until something is done. Here at CSG, my enthusiasm for activism has greatly flourished. Not only have we learned about the many issues that we face today, but we've also learned how to harness our passions to make a difference, and that our opinions and beliefs really do matter. One of the most important things that I've learned at CSG is to not give up hope. It is incredibly easy when we hear or see these statistics to fall into despair, to think nobody else is doing anything, why should I? But in fact, it is an absolute imperative that people stay hopeful. In a world with so many seemingly unsolvable problems, activism provides that beam of hope, motivating people to continue fighting their fight. We were able to see this on one of our last weekends here when we went into Portland to Monument Square to participate in a climate change rally. The rally was put on by 350.org in support of COP21, or the Conference of Parties, which is ending in Paris today. It was a great culminating activity to exercise our newly acquired empowerment of making a change. Another thing that activism provides is a sense of adventure. Here at CSG, the residential life theme has been adventure, and we have talked a lot about what adventure means to us. We decided that a universal definition was something that is fun and pushes your comfort zone. To a lot of people, activism is just that: new, a tad bit scary, and thrilling. If you come away from an event feeling a sense of adventure, you are more likely to come back. So that's what I did. On November 6, 2011, my family and I, Bill McKibben, and thousands of people went down to Washington, D.C. to protest against the Keystone XL pipeline. The pipeline, commissioned by TransCanada, would carry millions of barrels of crude tar sands oil across 5 U.S. states each week, and was stated by environmentalists as a disaster waiting to happen. The other marchers and I held hands, creating a serpentine line around the White House. What was expected to be about 4,000 people looping around the White House once ended up being 12,000 protesters, and we were able to encircle the White House 3 times. Now, 4 years later, President Obama has officially banned the Keystone XL pipeline, and I feel that our outcry when I was 12 years old had a direct impact on this positive decision. So now, I can officially refute my 8-year-old self's activism skepticism and say that social movement truly makes a difference. The civil rights movement showed us that with peaceful civil disobedience, we can make the impact necessary to change conformity. Let us be able to look back to this era and talk about the change we the people made by marching, acting, and moving. Thank you.